Eastern. I'm here. If you have any vocal questions, let me know, and I will work that into the conversation. Um, hey, welcome. Thanks for being here, Annie. I am so excited because I am opening doors. Well, the doors have already been opened to my Enchanted Voice membership, and I've got some really awesome people in there, and I'm super excited about what we're about to do. This is kind of like a monthly lighter commitment version of my Vocal Magic program. So if you're interested in working with me, but maybe feels like too much to do like every week private session, either time wise or financially, I totally get it. I still want you to have a place to go as a singer to talk about singing, to talk about the struggles that you're going through, to talk about the nervous system aspect and the mental aspect of it. And so that's what this is for. That's what I created it for. It's a monthly membership. You can come and go as you please. Although this rate that I'm opening it for will be the lowest ever. So now is a great time to go join. Thank you for being here. Hey, Sammy, welcome. So I just wanted to get that out up front because usually I talk about it at the end and I know not everybody watches till the end. So I'm really excited. There's a really good group of people in there already, and I've got a couple more VIP spots open and a couple more basic spots open. So come on in, join us. You have until February 5th. So that is like almost 2 weeks from now, right? Yes, almost 2 weeks from now. But don't wait because those VIP spots will be gone very soon. So yeah, it's if you have any questions about it, feel free to message me. But basically, it's we meet every once a month on a big Zoom call. We do some hot seat sessions, some hot seat coaching. If you want to, of course, you don't have to, no pressure. And then I will send you little weekly tidbits. I have like a schedule, like I'll do a little bit of anatomy one week and I'll do a little bit of exercises and workouts for another week. And we'll do a little bit of mindset, nervous system stuff the next week. And so we're going to work within a theme every month. And this first month is going to be all about the breath because that's the most important thing when we're singing. So I think it's really going to be a nice, well-rounded program, but not like run you to the ground, overwhelm you, because I don't want that for you. Right? We all have lives. None of us have time to be overwhelmed for something you weren't sure you signed up for. So that's what Enchanted Voice is all about. If you want more than that, you can join the VIP, and then you get a private session with me every month, an hour-long one, which is hard to come by. My schedule is packed nowadays. So get in there now so you can schedule your first session. Thanks for being here. I'm so excited to have you. You're good. And no worries. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here. I do want to talk about the breath in relation to our nervous system and our mind. And sometimes we get really overthinky about the breath. And that is partially our fault as vocal coaches because we start telling you how to breathe and all of a sudden your body's like, wait a second, I don't know how to breathe already? I thought I knew how to breathe. What's wrong with the way I'm breathing? And so then we get really in our heads and we start to overthink and we start to, am I breathing fast enough? Am I breathing too slow? Am I breathing in the right amounts? Like, should I push it more? Should I not push it more? And so I try not to do that as much as a vocal coach. I do like 1 or 2 lessons on it at the beginning, just so we can think about how we normally breathe and equate that to our defaults as a person showing up in the world. And then also just kind of changing the way you feel into your breath as a singer, because you do have to breathe slightly differently than you would just sitting on the couch. You need more ab support, especially when people say sing from the diaphragm. What they really mean is get your abs involved. And abdominal engagement, the slow engagement over a long exhale, is what is helping your vocal folds to have that nice steady tone that we always look for. Otherwise, it's going to sound like right? You're going to be pushing and pulling and pressing gas pedal and going back and forth because that's what my abs were just doing. So what we want to think about is, can I make this note as steady as possible with the least amount of effort possible? And this goes for things beyond just breathing too. Like everything we talk about in singing is muscle versus air, right? So if you have the air down, if you have no problem having a steady breath, a steady airstream, then maybe your issue is your muscle engagement is all over the place. And that can be for many reasons as well. But first of all, before you touch on that, let's do some breathing together just for funsies. Okay, so let's take a nice big belly breath. And if you don't know what that means, look at your body right now. Is your belly extended? Is your belly tight? That's the most important thing. Most of us, when I say take a deep breath, we go, we breathe into our chest because we feel like that's where all the work needs to happen to take enough air in. And so we get tight and we are breathing only into the top part of our lungs. So what I want you to think about is bypassing your chest and your shoulders and just breathing into your belly. So nice open mouth also. We're not doing yoga breaths, although that's helpful for many other things. Not right now. Because when you're singing within a song, you may have half a second to take a breath before your next phrase. So I like to practice steady open mouth breathing. So as you're doing this, you can put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly and feel into whether you're trying to take that air into your chest or whether you're allowing it to settle all the way down to your belly. So nice inhale, belly expands. And then exhale, steady, slow belly contraction. Just normally, we're not doing any extra like right now. But if we want to expand that a little bit for singing, we can start to test ourselves a little bit. So we're going to do an SH, S or SH, whichever one works for you. We're going to take a nice belly breath, and then we're going to do an S or SH all the way to the end of your breath, and notice the airflow. If you end up doing something like notice what your abs are doing and see if you can get them to move in a steady engagement. These are your obliques, by the way, the outer ones, the ones on the outside. That's really what I want you to feel, is that steady. Like if I punch you in the stomach, you go, huh. That's that steady movement you want as you're breathing in. So let's do it together. Nice belly breath and SH out. Good. Did you notice any wobbliness, any extra pushing? Maybe your abs are not used to this steady motion, so they went a little bit like huh, huh, huh. Or maybe there was a lack of abs altogether. Maybe you felt it in here. Maybe you're pushing from here. Let me know what you noticed. So as soon as we notice what our air is doing, and if we can get to that place of, oh, I can let out a steady stream of air, we can start doing other things. My first warm-up that I do with everybody is these lip drills, right? Because you have to have a steady stream of air in order to keep your lips vibrating. And if the airstream stops, your lips stop, and it's hard to get it started. And so it makes it very obvious what your airflow is doing. And also, this brings in a little bit of tone, so a little bit of muscle engagement. And so, like I was saying, everything is a balance between air and muscle. And so when we bring this in, it's a balance between pushing too hard and not pushing enough. And we have to find the middle ground and find what's easiest for you in order to keep that tone moving. And it's really, really obvious because the lips are the ones that are too tight or too loose usually in this situation. But it works the same for your vocal folds, which are basically a set of lips that open and close in order to make sound. So as we do this, if you haven't done this before, you can put your hands on your jawline and push up and do a little horse breath. And then add some humming behind it and see if you can make it to the end of your breath, just like we did before. Ready? Good, don't worry if you didn't go as long as me, no judgment. But did you feel your abs doing that steady, slow engagement all the way into the end of your breath? Did you notice any tightness happening in your lips? Did you notice any looseness happening in your lips? Did anything stop? You need to get started again. Then we can start to add in more tones. So I like to do these on like an arpeggio or a slide so that we start changing our pitch, and that can also test if we have any extra need to fight or push or overdo as we go up. So we can do just a nice slide. So we start on just a nice little mini slide, and then we can go up from there. Let me know if you noticed anything as you started to go up. Did your vocal muscles start to want to help? Did they want to over crunch or over engage or get involved? What's happening? Or were you able to keep a nice open, steady tube in here and keep that air flowing from underneath? Let me know what you noticed. Even if you're watching this back later, let me know how it went for you. So as we start to add this tone in, you'll start to really notice maybe you don't have an air issue, you have a muscle issue. So many of the people that show up here, like me, are perfectionists and fighters, and the people that just have to figure things out. I think it's not a failing. It's just how we were born and grown up and raised. And so when we have this new and exciting thing that we have to do, if we have to go up into our high chest voice or something, we always feel like we need to add some extra doing energy, right? We need to add some manipulation. We need to make sure that note is good and on pitch and perfect, because if anybody hears an imperfect note, that is a problem. Yes? Does that resonate with you? Let me know. When you added the slide for the first one, you ran out of trills at the end. Totally. So that might tell you maybe need to work on your endurance a little bit with that. Or maybe there was a little bit of extra squeezing that made the air slow down. So do some figuring it out. Try a couple more times and see what you notice. And then, what was I saying before? We're talking about adding the muscle in. And if you notice that you are a fighter, and you have this instinct while you're holding a nice long note to make it different or better or fix it in any certain way, even before even before a note comes out, that means you are probably one of those people who overdo and who over effort. Don't worry, I'm one of them too. I am a chronic over tongue tension person. Especially in my low, which is my weak side of my voice, I guess, because I'm a soprano, I tend to try and overdo, and I don't let myself relax enough and release enough. I'm always worried, and that's, I think, where this comes from, is this fear that has been ingrained in us over many years of music lessons and teachers and other adults saying it's not good enough and all that. How we relate to challenges in general has a lot to do with this. I think. So as you're showing up to your nemesis part of your voice, whatever that is for you, you know what it is, whether it's high notes or low notes or the middle transition point, something happens on the inside and you get a little fear. Maybe it's your gremlins talking in your ear going, are you sure you're going to hit that note right? Are you sure you're going to be on pitch? And so then your biology takes over and is like, well, I'm going to make sure I'm on pitch, right? I'm going to force it into submission. And so that's where this extra efforting comes in a lot of times. Some people it's the tongue, some people it's the jaw, some people it's the outer vocal muscles, some people we get tight in our whole torso. But I want you just to notice what your pattern is. And this is the beginning of everything that we talk about in Vocal Magic and Enchanted Voice and all of everything I do, because it's not just about technique, you guys. It's about how safe you feel. If you don't feel safe in hanging out on your transition and your bridge, you're not going to be okay with hanging out there and making weird sounds until you get safer. right? So whether that means you exercise right before you sing, so you have a little more hormone balance, or whether that means you make it a goal for yourself to hang out in that little mini bridge transition area every single day, so that over time you're giving that slight dysregulation to yourself in order to train your nervous system to not feel into that area of your voice as such a fearful thing anymore. You know what I mean? So sometimes we need to promote safety first. And sometimes, if you're already feeling pretty regulated, we start to go and chase after a little bit of dysregulation in order to train ourselves to make that thing not a problem anymore. And you've done this in other parts of your life, I'm sure. Like if you're trying to eat less sugar, it's not fun at first. So we go eat the sugar-free things. We eat things that are not sweet enough, and it's not fun. It's painful, but we're chasing that pain in order to make our bodies more used to it, so that we don't shy away from it. You know, if you've ever tried to go to the gym and have a routine in the gym, the first couple weeks are super not fun, often actually physically painful. But once you get past that wall of the body feeling pain, you're training your body and your nervous system to say, okay, this is not such a problem anymore. I'm chasing a little bit of pain so that it becomes easier and easier for me to go back and feel more normal about being here, you know, and doing this hard thing. Same thing in your struggle points in your voice. You do little bits every day, as long as you're feeling safe and regulated, in order to start to train your muscles and your brain connected to your muscles and your nervous system in order to show up for your voice in a different way over time. And it takes time. It takes time. This is not an overnight thing. This is not an over 1 week thing. This is like 3 to 8 months at least. You'll start to feel things change. For some people it's earlier, some people it's later, who knows. But that's the thing, is not shying away from things that you are not good at right now. You know, that's what they say. You have to suck at something first in order to get better. So if the breath is a thing for you, if you notice that your steady airstream is not there, let's work on that first. If you notice that your airstream is fine, but you have too much muscling happening, let's work on why that is. You know, do some journaling about why you feel like you have to correct every note, why you feel like you can't let out any off-pitch note ever in front of anybody, even yourself, right? Get to the bottom of why that is, and then watch any of my lives about the gremlin and work on who your gremlin is. Start to defend, separate, say, I don't need your opinion, thank you very much. I can make all the mistakes I want. I know that's scary for some of us, especially the perfectionists, but that's the road we have to go on. So let me know which part of this is the thing you're gonna take away and go do your homework on. There's a lot there, even though I feel like I just scratched the surface a little bit. Yeah, it's really important stuff. And the other part of this is having people to do it with. Sometimes singing by yourself, it's great, but like we need a bouncing off board so that our gremlin is not the only voice in our head. You know, we need somebody else there saying, no, you're improving, you're doing good things. I heard more freedom in your voice just now. I heard it. It's there. You're so good. And the more you have positive voices in your head, it can start to outbalance the negative gremlin voice, which has been there for probably decades at this point. And that's the only way we can start to make a change, right? Like the technique is great, but even if you know all the technique in the world, if your head is filled with perfectionism and manipulation, control, that you're not allowing yourself to be imperfect ever, and you're letting that gremlin drive, the technique is not going to help you. When you're on stage, all that's going to be in your head is, I'm not safe because I'm worried about what other people might say. I'm worried about messing up, all that stuff. And if your body is not safe, you cannot execute the technique that you did when you were safe. Make sense? It's just how our bodies work. It's why stage fright is a thing for so many people. And it doesn't have to stick with you forever. You know, this is a thing that can change. And I know because I've done it personally as a singer. I'm working at it in other parts of my life now, and it is mind-blowing. But yeah, singing on stage is less of a scary thing for my nervous system now, because I have showed up and been scared and say, yep, this is what I'm doing. I'm on purpose showing my nervous system that I can do it and survive. And then you keep doing that over and over and over again, and it becomes way less of a thing. I'm not saying that I have zero stage fright ever anymore, because that's absolutely not true. But it can change how you show up as a human body. And that is the most important thing. All the affirmations in the world are not going to change how you show up if your nervous system is in a state of danger. Hopefully that makes sense. It shows up in other parts of your life too. Let me know. Yes. Endurance, journaling. Yep. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, hanging out on the edge, man, that's a hard thing. Hanging out on the edge is why most people don't pursue artistic careers, honestly, because they're not willing to hang out in this weird, edgy place. But you are so brave. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Your gremlins are always going to come back, but you can tell them to go away for 5 minutes, and that works. They're going to come back, but then you'll get even stronger the next time, and then you'll be able to push them away again. And then you can start to bring in a cheerleader voice that maybe feels impossible to listen to right now, but maybe later when that gremlin is gone more often, you can bring in that nice cheerleader that says, yeah, you are improving. You're doing some amazing things. You're doing things that 95% of the population never even try. You're amazing, right? So if you can start to have that come from you instead of somebody else, that is really amazing. But if you don't know how to do that, this is what group programs are for. This is why I'm here, to be your cheerleader, to be your support system, to hold spaces for other people like you who feel the same things you're feeling, who are like, I'm sure I'm the only one thinking this, and then you show up to a group and 5 other people are saying the same thing. It's really nice. I tell you right now, it's so nice to be in a space with other people who love to do the same thing you like to do, and are feeling the same things you're feeling, and are struggling with all the same things you're struggling with. And we're working on it all together. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you listening. This is what the Enchanted Voice program is all about, and the doors are open until February 5th. So you have 2 more weeks at this rate. I'll probably close the doors again for a while, and then open it back up later this year, but I don't know when that will be. So this is your chance to join us for the group program that will change stuff for you, and does not take as much time or money as private sessions or my deep dive vocal magic program. So this is like the light version, but it's all up to you. Like, you can do the work and have the same amount of change happen and growth happen as my vocal magic students in the same 6 months. But it's up to you what you show up for, how much you show up for yourself, and how much you allow yourself to have grace with yourself. And just saying yes, honestly. Once you say yes to any kind of singing program, you're saying yes to that little you inside of you that has wanted this for so long, that you've had to say no to because of money or time or getting another career or all that stuff, which is totally valid. You have to survive and you have to take care of yourself. But maybe now there's a little space to say yes to that person. And this is why I have this program for you. This is the space. We're holding space for you, because we all have that little part of ourselves that has wanted so much for so long. And we just needed friends in that space. Friends who got our weird obsession with singing and art in general. which is hard to find, you know, out there in the world. Most people are just like, what are you're singing? Why? What, did you lose your job or something? What's happening? And those people are not your people. Guess what? So come find us. We're here for you. There's plenty of time, but don't wait that long because I only have a couple VIP spots left and a handful of basic spots left. So let me know if you're interested. If you have questions or concerns, just send me a message. Happy to chat on the phone with you for a little bit and make sure it's the right thing for you. But if you're feeling any kind of like a draw to having a safe space for your singer self and technique tidbits every week, exercises, this kind of nervous system conversation, and ways to practice your craft either in front of people or not in front of people, whatever you're feeling, that all exists within this program. And the link is right up there. So go check it out. Join us. And I love you. Okay. Appreciate you. Have a lovely day. See you soon.